Hi, my name is Robert Shelley with Shelley Law, and my law firm assists Chiropractic Associates with employment agreement and independent contractor agreement issues. Today I'm going to talk about common compensation models for chiropractic associates. So there's two main models and then one kind of like side model that I want to discuss today. So the first model is obviously just straight base salary, meaning the chiropractic associate, let's just say, for instance, makes $100,000 a year. None of it is tied to productivity or encounters or anything like that. I would say this is probably at least less than half of people are just on a straight base salary. Nowadays, most owners of businesses, at least in the chiropractic arena, like to tie the compensation of a chiropractic associate to productivity. So that's the first one, straight base salary. No bonuses, no opportunity for bonuses, and that's it. The second would be a net collections model. This is, I would say, the most popular, and that means that the chiropractic associate gets a percentage of any revenue collected by the chiropractic office based upon their personally performed services. Now, a few things to think about here. If you are a chiropractic associate, you know, your volume is not just up to you, meaning you are kind of tied to the efficiency of the office, meaning is the scheduling being done appropriately? Are the patients being roomed if you're doing, adjustments in a room efficiently? If they're out on the floor doing exercises, do you have assistants to walk them through that, or do you have to do it yourself? So, are there even a pool of patients to provide the chiropractic associate with enough, to be productive and make enough money, or at least as much money as they want to make? So these are things you should assess, like from the chiropractic associate side when you're looking at a new job. These are questions you need to ask. Is staffing a problem? How busy are you? Is there going to be volume for me, to make enough money? Because from the owner side, there's really not much of a risk bringing in an associate when they're completely tied to productivity, because they're only going to get paid for things that they perform. So those are a few things to keep in mind if you are being paid on a net collections model. And one other thing that just popped into my mind, especially in the chiropractic arena, you're going to be doing services that you may not be paid for like a year. Especially if you're doing a lot of like personal injury stuff, or maybe you have a referral relationship with a PI attorney. You need to look into your contract and see if there's language that states you will not be paid for anything that you've performed that hasn't been collected prior to the date of your termination. And so what I mean is, you could be doing a ton of work on a personal injury patient, and then you leave, and then you'll never get paid for any of those services because you aren't employed at the time that the practice actually received the money. So that's one thing to think about. It's a big risk when you're a chiropractic associate and you're on productivity and you don't get any of that money. I mean, it could be a significant amount of money that you're leaving on the table. All right, so the next kind of compensation model would be just encounters. So I've had a few who have decided, and I'm not advocating for this model, but I'm just kind of giving examples of any kind of encounter that involved an adjustment, an assessment, an x-ray. They would get a set amount of money, and that would be their only payment. Determining what number makes sense in that scenario, I think, is difficult. And the volume of patients that someone needs to see in that scenario is substantial, but that's another way of doing it. And then obviously you can do kind of a hybrid of all of those. You could do maybe like a minimum guaranteed base. And then once they reach that threshold or cover their salary, then they would get a percentage of the net collections above that amount, something like that. Those are all normal ways of doing it. So from the Chiropractic Associates side, just make certain that you're protecting yourself, that you're able to be compensated after you leave for the services you performed, or you could be essentially working for free for a large period of time, depending upon the practice, right? If you're in a chiropractic practice where you're doing no PI work, you're getting paid normally based upon like a normal insurance schedule, or it's just self-pay, not so much of a problem. But if it's a big PI practice, it is really something you need to think about before you take a job. All right, if you have any questions, please, you can ask them in the comments. I'm happy to answer them. If you need any assistance with review of a chiropractic associate employment agreement or independent contractor agreement, contact my law firm at the contact information listed below in the description. And I appreciate you watching the video. All right, thanks. Bye.